Welcome to this edition of Dufferin Life. I'm your host, Teena Avery. Thank you so much for tuning in or turning us on or putting me on your phone or live streaming it or checking us out on YouTube. I love the fact that you're here with me today. We are going to talk about a very what I think is a very important fundraiser that's happening. And joining me today, we have Marjorie and Dave Grime. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us. Thanks for having us.
I didn't want to give anything away because there's an explanation behind this and what's happening, and it's a very important fundraiser for the local community. So, Marjorie, why don't you start by telling me a little bit about what am I talking about that not really saying anything about?
So, Dave and I are both realtors with Royal LePage, and Royal LePage has a fundraising opportunity, and it's this is the fourth one they've done, and it is a trek that we are participating in. Mm-hmm. It's in Ecuador. Every participant, there are 115 people from Royal LePage all across Canada who've been accepted. There were more applicants, but only 115 were accepted. And so we're trekking for 5 days. Each of us has to raise a minimum of $6,000, and we pay for all of our costs. And it is for women's shelters. And it's wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
And we're going to get a little into the meat of what actually this trek is, because you're thinking, oh, they're going on a trek. It's not just that. There's so much more to it. But Dave, I want you to tell me a little bit about what Marjorie was talking about. So you're raising a minimum of $6,000 each.
Correct.
But you are paying for the costs of going to Ecuador and that sort of thing.
Yep, cost of going, airfare. There's a cost that Royal LePage makes us pay for. Mm-hmm. But the main goal is to raise as much money as we possibly can. I think we're up to $1.3 million.
Wow.
For women's shelters across Canada. And I've chosen Family Transition Place here in Orangeville, mm-hmm. As who's going to get 80% of the $6,000. I think the extra 20% goes to other shelters across Canada that need assistance as well.
Okay.
So I picked Family Transition Place here in Orangeville, and the other 20% will go to other
worthwhile
communities,
causes,
other communities that don't have a Royal LePage representative who's going on this trek. Yeah.
And I think that's amazing, because you're supporting something very important and local in the community, but you're still able to help others across Canada that, as you said, may not have a Royal LePage mm-hmm. participating, mm-hmm. And they still, because these types of places need a lot of funding.
They do. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening here. So you're trekking for 5 days, you said. Give me kind of we're going to go into the detail, but give me kind of an overview of what you mean by going on a trek. What are you going to be doing?
Well, we'll be flying into 20. How many meters is Quito?
About 3,000 meters.
About 3,000 meters. So we're going to be flying into about 3,000 meters, that's pretty high. Mm-hmm. That's pretty high. So you're going to be dealing with altitude right off the bat.
Okay.
We all conglomerate, and there's 4 different groups. The first group will go. The second group, you're in group 2. I'm in group 3.
Okay.
So we're not all together as almost 100 people.
Right.
Trekking around Cotopaxi. It's one of the third largest active volcanoes in the world.
Wow.
So we're circumventing around that. We'll get up to an elevation of about 4,500 meters, and with an acclimatization trek, I think up to 4,800, which is pretty high.
Yeah.
Everybody goes by meters when it comes to altitude.
Right.
I've trekked in the past, and you'll be feeling it. You're going to be twice as slow as you would be.
Okay.
Walking around here.
So just to give me I'm not a meters person. Do we have any idea what it is in feet? Like how far up that you're going to be, approximately?
It's about 10,000 feet where we fly into Quito.
Oh, so you're starting at like 10,000 feet, and then you're going up from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's at that point where the oxygen starts depleting.
Okay.
And so it's more challenging on your body.
Okay.
And so one of the guidelines has been that when we're trekking and when we're preparing for this, is that we carry weight in our backpack.
Okay.
So if you could do, this is my backpack.
All
here.
right.
Do you want to just?
Do I want to try and lift this up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to put a disclaimer on here. I don't have a lot of upper body
Right.
strength, but this is really heavy. How much weight do you have in the backpack?
I have 20 pounds in the backpack.
It feels way more than 20
I know
pounds.
it feels like, well,
Yeah.
but I've got a couple of liters of water as
Okay.
well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it is heavy.
So when you're training, you're wearing that backpack the whole
I
time?
I do, yeah. And training, and I've been doing a lot of hiking on the Bruce Trail and up around Blue Mountain, and yeah, so it's not easy.
No, honestly, I'm thinking, wow, I'm really weak because I can't lift that. I mean, I can. I'm just attached to some wires. I'm going to use that as my
Right.
excuse. I didn't want to pull anything out. But that's just, I mean, what normally you think 20 pounds. Oh, it's 20 pounds. I mean, all of us can, well, not all of us, but most people can lift 20 pounds. But to carry that on your back for 5 days as you're trekking at a high altitude.
So the reason that we carry the weight right now is to get used to the strenuousness of
Okay.
the trek.
Oh, okay.
Once we're on the trek, we won't be carrying 20 pounds.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
was getting a little concerned for you guys there. I'm like, that's a lot
no,
of weight to, but
that's
I
right.
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So we have a day pack, and in our day pack is a lunch and first aid kit and weather gear, and because we are in the mountains, it could be freezing, it could snow. You have no idea what weather we're going to be up against.
Well, kudos to the two of you for taking this on, and all of the other people that are taking it on as well. And let's, I mean, what can one expect? I mean, I guess you said slow moving, but what are some of the other things? I mean, I can't imagine being at such a high altitude, not being able to take the deep breaths that you can normally take when you're taking a hike. And then having to deal with weather on the top of that. Am I missing anything? Like, it sounds like that doesn't sound, it sounds challenging.
Well, yep, it's hiking in the Andes Mountains.
Right.
I've been in Nepal. You've been in Nepal once. I've been in Nepal twice. This trek will be not at the altitude I've been at before.
Okay.
But it still will be challenging. It will be
Okay.
challenging. But my last one was in 2009, and
That was a long time ago.
that was a long time ago, and
Yeah.
I'm getting older. So
For sure. Okay, so we
But-
talked a little bit about the training.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, like, how much training are you doing?
So they give you a recommendation as to what to do. At this point, we should be hiking 4 days a week. So 2 days, about an hour each day.
Okay.
And right now we're up to like 5 hours, 6 hour hikes.
Okay.
And 6 hour hikes or distance.
Okay.
I did one on Monday that was a 20-kilometer trek.
Okay.
And it took 4 hours and a bit. But I didn't want to go any longer than that. It was fine.
I don't blame
My
you. I
feet
don't
were
blame you.
sore, right? They were very sore.
See, and now you're saying sore feet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine just having like a day pack on, and you have just the limited necessities, and then you're dealing with weather and like all of the things that I've previously mentioned, and then
Sleeping in a pup tent. You would
Right.
sleep in 2 people in a pup tent.
Okay.
And if the nature calls in the middle of the night, then you have to. And they have latrines set up, so
Okay.
you get out of your tent in the very cold weather and do what you have to do, and then come back in. So it's no cell phones, no comforts that we're typically used to.
I know, and so many that we take for granted now. Like we just always like, oh, I've got my phone, I can look that up, or I can see this, or I can check the weather for tomorrow, or I can see where we're going. Now, Marjorie, I know Dave said he's already. Have you trekked like this before? Like, have you done
Yeah.
this before? Okay.
For my 60th birthday, I decided to do the Annapurna circuit in Nepal, which is a 220-kilometer trek that my son had done. And he said to me at one point, he said, "Oh, you'd love it." He said, "But you're too old." So I said, "Okay, well, I think I'll do it." And so I invited all my kids.
Okay.
And I said, "If you come, I'll pay." And they all came, 3 of them, and my husband. So the 5 of us went on this trek, and it was pretty.
Eye-opening.
It was
challenging.
challenging,
Yeah.
but it was also you're on the
16,
rooftop.
18 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The rooftop of the world. Absolutely stunning, stunning scenery. But again, very challenging. Yeah. But that was.
I'm almost sad you won't have a phone to take all these beautiful photos to come back on the show. And
we
show
will
us
have.
everything.
We will.
We'll have photos.
Yeah.
We'll have photos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is it? Just from the knowledge of people who've done it in the past, or what prompted the two of you to take this on now?
Love of the mountains for me.
Yeah.
When I did the Annapurna circuit, me and my brother, we thought, we can do something more challenging than that. And then, 2009, we summited Mira Peak, which is 6,476 meters.
Okay.
And that took 5 weeks. So it was long. It was a long time. But once you get up to that height, our dream now is to even go higher than that. Now we have children and everything like that. But so yeah, I think Aconcagua, which is also in South America, will be our next conquest, maybe in the future.
Nice.
But
Impressive.
it's just once you've done it and if you really enjoy it, then you just want to go back and see the scenery and the beauty of being in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And just see, it's humbling to see.
No doubt.
The mountains around you and how small we are compared to what this world is. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we talked about like how long you're training, like in hours wise per week, but how long do you actually train? How many months? Is it months?
Probably 3-4 months out you start, and it's getting the gear. And I mean, I had gear from different hikes, but every hike is a different one. And this one, this is a smart wool top, so you can trek in it for 5 days, and it doesn't smell after 5 days, even with all the sweating and everything.
Impressive.
And no kidding, yeah. It's, the
this
gear
t-shirt's
is
not the same.
really, it is important. One of the big things also is just the fact that we're doing it for women's shelters, and it's such a needy cause, and intimate partner violence is so prevalent today, and in a number of areas they've actually declared state of emergencies because of it, and it's truly a challenging time. And at lunchtime every day when we have lunch, a person in the group reads a first-person story of someone who has suffered intimate partner violence and has been helped out by women's shelters. So it's really quite a moving experience.
Well, I commend you both. I wish you the best of luck with the trek, and I want to thank you for coming to help spread the word about what's happening, and hopefully we can drum up some more fundraising for you. So
That'd
thanks.
be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will be right back.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, I'm Alethea O'Hara Stevenson, host of In Conversation with Alethea, right here on Rogers TV. Tune in regularly to hear inspiring stories from individuals right here in Dufferin County. These stories will educate, it will empower, and it will inspire you, right here on Rogers TV, Dufferin-Caledon.
Hi, I'm Angel Morgan, host of Raising Energy on Rogers TV. Join us each week as we are back in the studio doing live psychic readings. Check out rogerstv.com for airtimes.
Welcome back to Dufferin Life. Thanks for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, great time. We're going to talk about what I love all the time, the holiday season and what's up and coming. Joining me is one of my favorite peeps who has not been on the show for a little bit, Allison Shields. She is the general manager of the Orangeville BIA. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me again. I thought you'd forgotten about me.
Oh, well, you know, this is it. I was like, oh my gosh, Allison must think I've forgotten about her. She needs to come on the show, whether we have anything to talk about or not.
Oh, well, I usually always have something to talk about. But tonight I'm here to talk to you about our Joy and Lights holiday celebration that's coming up.
Okay, so let's talk about what is it and when's it happening?
So on Friday, November 17th, we're having our traditional tree lighting. That's going to have, you know, Santa's going to come for a visit and light up the tree. We're going to have some live entertainment, and we're going to have some starlight shopping with Double Your Stamps Joy Book Night.
Nice.
Yes. So I can talk to you about the Joy Book too, if you like.
I was just going to say, please,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, and if you haven't taken advantage of the fact that there's a Joy Book happening and all the fun things that it can bring possibly for you, Allison's going to tell us all about the Joy Book.
Yeah, so a Joy Book is something that we started during the pandemic, and we continued it because it was really popular with local shoppers. So every time you spend some money in downtown Orangeville, you get a stamp. And once you have 20 stamps, you spend $10, you get a stamp. Once you have 20 stamps, you enter your Joy Book to win some prizes.
That's exciting.
Yes, and you can enter hundreds of Joy Books if you really love shopping downtown. So yeah, and there are two draws. One is an early bird draw in early December, and then the grand prize draw is in early January. So yeah, so it's a great way to just kind of spice up your holiday shopping, especially when you're shopping local. We really appreciate it. So yeah, it's just a little added incentive.
Well, I mean, and we're going to go into that because it's not something, and if you've been watching the show for a while, you will have heard me say the importance of supporting local. If you're just tuning in and you just started to watch the shows, it's really important to support our local businesses in any way you can. So we're talking about shopping, and of course that is the ideal way to help many of our businesses. But you know, some people may not have the budget for that. So the other way that you can help local businesses is social media. Social media is everywhere. Everybody's on it. Share and post things about your local, like share, you know, what's happening at the restaurants, what's happening at the stores, you know, what's maybe they've got a promotion on that you came across. Share it, right? Like
a great review goes so far when they come from someone who is just like you, and you're reading it and you're like, yeah, I'm going to try that place. Yeah.
Because I think there's places people haven't tried, right? Like, I mean, you live here, you take for granted that certain shops are there, and you think, oh, maybe I don't need anything in that shop, but just go in and check it out.
Yeah. Try a new dish at a local restaurant. I can tell you they work really hard for your money.
They do.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah. They really want you to come back, so they want to make you happy.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got the tree lighting happening, and then there's the shopping afterwards, and of course the double stamps for your Joy Book, for sure. And then the day after, the big man in red comes back.
Yes, he does. On a very big truck, he comes back. Yes. So the next morning we have the Winter Farmers Market at Town Hall from 9 to 1. That's every Saturday starting in early November. And so after the Winter Farmers Market, the Santa Claus Parade starts at 5 p.m. New start time this year, 5 p.m., a little bit later than our past 4:30 start.
Okay.
Kind of going back to our nighttime roots. It had kind of veered off from that for a few years, but we're going back. And it starts at First Street at Hanson Road, as usual. And it's going to head down south on First Street to Broadway, and then east on Broadway to 4th Street, where the parade ends.
Right.
So the parade lasts usually about an hour, thereabouts, depending on how long the parade is and how many people are walking versus how many tractors and little go-karts and stuff are in it. Sometimes it's a bit slower, but it's a really fun night. It's a great family event.
I love the Santa Claus Parade, and I'm sad that I'm going to miss it this year. I won't be in the country, but I'm very sad to miss it, and I'm.
You used to do the commentating for it,
Yes,
did you not?
yes, yeah, and I was hoping that I'd be doing it again this year, but I will be away. But I'm sure somebody that's okay will be doing it.
I'm sure they'll have somebody great, but next year
Yes.
you can pick up the mantle again.
Absolutely, I really,
Yes.
really hope so. I really, really hope so. I cannot tell you how much I just love watching the kids go by and the floats go by, and you see different, sometimes there's a theme, sometimes there isn't a theme, but everybody's got their own idea of how they want to be portrayed and how they want to get out there, and I just love waving to the people, and just it's a lot of fun.
It's a happy day.
It is.
And speaking of themes, this year's theme is Northern Lights.
Okay.
We saw the Northern Lights a few times in Dufferin County over the course of the last year, so I think that's probably why it was chosen. So we're pretty excited about that. And before the parade, we're having some pre-entertainment on Broadway. So there'll be some carolers, there'll be some singers, there'll be some dancers, there'll be some, some fun stuff happening. So you're not going to be bored standing and waiting for the parade. You're going to be entertained as you wait. So, and of course you can shop, and you can double your Joybook stamps on that day as well. If you
Wow.
shop.
So you've got 2 nights to remember, November 17th and November 18th. During the day, you've got the Winter Farmers Market. There's so much to do. There's always lots to do and lots to see when you walk down Broadway. And I think I'm just leading into this. Are you catching this? I'm just leading into you explaining a little bit about the Orangeville BIA, because there could be some people that don't understand everything and all of the hard work that you do to bring things to the community.
Oh, thank you. Before I do that, can I add one other thing about our Joy and Lakes Week? Joy and Lights weekend. So this year, the Santa Claus Parade Marshal is Heather Hayes from the Orangeville Food Bank.
Amazing.
And we're really encouraging people to bring donations to both the tree lighting and to the Santa Claus Parade, so you can drop off your donations, and also at the winter market that day. So please bring your donations if you can, and because it's our community is really in need. So,
yeah, absolutely. And Heather's been on the show, and I'm a huge supporter of the food bank, because it's just. And I know her goal, and I've always said this, her goal, and she says it when she comes on the show, that her goal is to be put out of business so that people don't need food, that they are able to have food on their own. And they provide such a vital service to the community. And I think now, and I think of things like, prices are going up, and gas has gone up, and this is going up, and interest rates are going up, and everything seems to be going up. And I say to everybody, you don't know who's affected by this. Your neighbor, a friend, people could be affected by this. It doesn't matter if, they're driving a BMW, because what happens is they're leasing their BMW, something happens, they lose their job, they can't afford to pay off the lease because it may cost them $40,000, so they still have to struggle to survive, and you don't know what somebody else is going through. So please on those 2 days, if you are able to, please bring some donations out for the Orangeville Food Bank.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, so on to all the lovely things that you do for the community.
Yeah, so I've been employed by the BIA now for 14 years. It doesn't feel like a job. It really does feel like, it's just part of an extension of my life, really. I've been really fortunate to work for hundreds of small business owners that rely on us to help them to attract people to downtown Orangeville. So our job is to attract people, and it's the business's job to get them to go into their store or into their restaurants. But we do whatever we can to encourage them to come downtown and to enjoy spending time. So, for example, in the summer, we have Taste of Orangeville. If any of your viewers came to that, I hope they had a really great time. This year, we had added a new event on the Friday night before, which was In Good Spirits, which was a craft beverage event, which went really well. We were so pleased, and the feedback was so positive. We'll be bringing that back again next year.
Amazing. So
we're pretty excited about that. It's a busy weekend for us, but really enjoyable. And then we just had Boo on Broadway just recently, and that was very well attended by lots of little kiddos and lots of amazing little costumes, families together having a great time in the park with petting zoos and face painting and lots of trick-or-treating. So it was a really good day. And then now we're on to the tree lighting and to the Santa Claus Parade. And of course the winter market runs all winter long, and then we have the outdoor market that runs all season long. So those are the big things that we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things that they do, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, with regards to, decorating for Halloween on Broadway and decorating for Christmas, and of course, I mean, the tree lighting we're talking about, but that's a phenomenal sized tree. Like, I don't know where you find trees quite that big.
Well, you know, we're really lucky because they're donated by people who live in and around Dufferin County.
Okay.
So we put a call out for people to donate trees that have kind of overgrown their space on their lots, and we get a few options, and then we have a company who does a lot of work for the town of Orangeville, donates their time. Ott's Tree Service, amazing, a great company, highly recommend them. They go out, the town of Orangeville and Orangeville Hydro, they all partner together to go and get the tree and to install it for us, and then the town of Orangeville Public Works decorates it for us. So yes, it definitely is a labor of love and a very collaborative effort between 4 different organizations that love the tree and love the tree lighting and love everything that it says about our community. So
yeah. And this, and you know, I'm repeating myself a lot tonight, but it's because you've been on the show before, but I just want to make sure we're talking about it. We live in a phenomenal community. Like, I just find the collaboration between businesses and community groups, and you know, just everything just comes together just to make it, you know, make these types of events such a warm place where you walk away just happy on the inside.
Yeah, it does.
And on the outside.
It takes a lot of work from a lot of different people, but it also takes a community who really appreciates it. So, you know, we couldn't do it without having a community that really embraced what we do. So, you know, that makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we've talked about Christmas. I'm just going to talk about the guy in red again. So he'll be there for the tree lighting, the joy.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
He'll be using all of his magic to light up that tree.
That's very exciting. And you said entertainment as well. So we've got the carolers that are normally there.
Yes, we have Toys Choir is going to be there, and Elizabeth Dubois, who's extremely talented, is going to sing some songs for us, and a special guest from Theatre Orangeville's new panto, Cinderella. It's, oh my goodness, sorry,
Debbie Collins?
Yes, and David Nairn wrote the play. It's, oh my gosh, the name of the play has just
Cinderella, the shoe. Yeah.
If the shoe fits.
That's
it. Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm
together
so
we
sorry,
form
David
one
Nairn.
brain. Yeah.
Please do not. I'm so sorry. Yes, Cinderella, If the Shoe Fits, and it's a panto, and it's supposed to be hilarious, and I'm really looking forward to it. The Christmas shows are always fabulous. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
So someone from that play will be singing for us, and it's like a big surprise. So I can't wait to hear them. And Santa is going to be visiting with kids afterwards.
So fun for the whole family.
Yeah, and we've got some strolling entertainment as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Wonderful. Alison, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and coming back on the show after such a long time.
Thank you. It won't be so long next time.
No,
right?
it won't be. It won't be for sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I want to thank you for joining us and for tuning in. And until next time, bye-bye for now.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his license and a lot more? If he gets in his